Today I'm going to be doing the opposite of what we did in our last experiment video, which is going to be simming 10 seasons, but with the progression sliders to 0. We're also, on top of that, going to be maxing out the regression sliders. This could be an absolute disaster where the league is filled with nothing but 60 and 70 overalls in a very short time. I'm actually pretty excited to see it, though, because I want to see what this regression, more than anything, is going to look like. Some of the main players I really want to see are Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce. It's not really a quarterback that's that great. You know, if Tom Brady was still around, it would have been a really good player to look at, but you know, a lot of the older guys are already pretty low overall. Also, does someone want to explain why Joe Mixon and Christian McCaffrey have a higher rating than Josh Jacobs? That's all I'm asking. So we have simmed past the Super Bowl, which is where the regression starts, and Derrick Henry took a massive 12 overall hits. I will say his speed didn't really take too much of a hit, which is kind of the main rating that would matter here. Trucking obviously did, and, you know, acceleration and stiff arm did, but still really fast at 92 speed. But yes, he took a massive hit. 12 overalls. At his age, usually you'd see anywhere from 4 to 6, so it pretty much has efficiently or effectively doubled, which is, hey, that's what it said. So maybe an actual slider that works from EA. And then Travis Kelce even further at 14, which tight end really isn't a position that gets hit as hard with regression, but man, he really did here. 2 speed, maybe even more. I mean, he lost 134 ratings, dropping him down to an 85 from a 99. Still good, but yeah, that is a huge hit. And then you have Mike Evans, who was also devastated, not as much as the other guys, but 9 overalls for him, which was totaling 58 lost ratings, 2 of that to speed, 7 spec catch, some route running and all that. What I will say, though, surprisingly, Zach Martin didn't lose a single rating. I don't know what that's about. He's 34 now. Unless because it's the Cowboys, they knew there was no chance they'd make the Super Bowl and they just gave him the regression right away. Oh, I'm sorry, Cowboys fans. You just have to take the jokes. And then Mac also ruined here. About 10 overalls lost. He does regress pretty hard in general anyways. 5 speed. That's the worst speed regression we've seen by far. But there's not really many defenders with a high enough overall that we could have looked at other than Mac. So just know, yeah, this is going to be tough. Which, speaking of tough, I think it's going to be tough for you to go on without liking and subscribing. Of course, only if you end up enjoying the video. And maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays for non-Madden content. Let's go into this draft where the Titans are sitting number 1. Usually taking one of the cornerbacks. Let's see if maybe it's Cam Ward instead. It is, in fact, Travis Hunter. I do like that no matter how many times I use this class, the draft class, you know, that does kind of move around a bit. Usually, you know, the first 3 picks are pretty much set in stone, but not this time. Ward drops all the way down to 9, and I think it's kind of cool that it works like that. But of course, let's go to the end of the draft, see how the thing shakes out. The Eagles with a pretty diverse draft class, a bunch of different positions all across the board. With the one almost constant thing I've been seeing lately, though, Genty going in the 2nd round at pick 10 of the Bears. It's crazy because no matter how high you put him in the draft order, it seems like he always goes to the 2nd round, which, of course, is not going to happen. So I don't remember the exact ratings of every single player on this Eagles team, but this is what the team's going to be looking like for year 1 of 10. Slay's an 82 overall. That's probably a bit of a hit. But yeah, for the most part, I can't really remember this. The only problem I have really with this is, how are these ratings going to go up? It's 0%. I imagine when it says 0% sliders, you physically gain no XP. So this could be a crazy one where, once again, everyone could be in the 60s or 70s. Also, a little surprised that Barkley didn't go down. 28 is kind of the new regression point, I believe, for running backs. Usually it's pretty minor, but hey, with all the percentages we got, it could be massive. But 29, I think he'll definitely regress. So kind of their last seat already with an elite running back, probably down to an 88 by the time next year begins. The 80 overall Chicago Bears in the freaking playoffs with us. Once again, progression basically not there. Not really going to see much different right now this early on, as of course the league isn't changed. You know, it hasn't really gone up, but obviously hasn't also gone down much. But as these ages start to climb, especially at the quarterback position, we should be seeing some things. Giants rolled with Jacoby Brissett, and while those picks are high, he actually had a pretty good year anyways. At least all things considered, it's the freaking Giants. You expect the best of the best to kind of struggle there. Levis also still starting for the Titans. Definitely an interesting one. Haven't really seen that. Usually those two teams have new QBs by now, but not today. Lamar, wow. That is pretty bad. Pretty bad stuff. Running backs, Jacobs number 1, Walker number 2, Brees 3. The youth are winning. Jamar Chase number 1 wide receiver again, but the touchdown's not going to be there. So he's not going to probably win the wide receiver of the year, although I will say a lot of the AFC is kind of low in touchdowns, so he might actually win it, whereas in the NFC definitely would have no chance. Even Christian Watson probably would beat him there just because of the touchdowns. Sack totals, Alaric Jackson 17, which is not bad. We've seen a lot in the 20s, and that's without the, regression sliders down to 0, or maxed out with XP down to 0. Greg Rousseau, 20.5. I mean, he had a crazy unbeatable sack record in our last one, so we'll see if we can do it again. Stingley, 8 interceptions. Wagner and Hunter with 7. Look at the Titans getting 1 billion interceptions. And then kicker. Meh, do we care? MVP goes to Josh Allen. Also, you know what? Because it's the first year, we'll take a look at those rookies. Trey Harris and Travis Hunter, of course. I mean, obviously, he had 7 interceptions. That's like best DB in general. Egbuka and Ukwu. Okay, okay, sure. All right, let's see if the Eagles can repeat or not. They are probably, one of the best teams equipped for this situation because their team is already pretty good. A little bit of regression concerns, though, but obviously took care of business against the Bears, but lost to the Lions. As the Niners, moving on, taking our spot. Going to also be the Niners in general all the way through. Versus the Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch. We love the Super Bowl rematches. The era of recycling is just so great because we all love recycling in general. But as far as the rebuild, the Super Bowls go themselves, love to see it. I mean, it's super fun. Who wouldn't want to see another Niners-Ravens? That's one that comes up so often, Niners-Ravens. See that all the time in these rebuilds. I guess Chiefs-Niners is pretty common too, but Chiefs win that one as well. We have passed the regression. That is not what I wanted to click. We have passed the regression point, so any guys like Saquon Barkley or whoever is old enough to start regressing might be taking some pretty big hits here. Let's take a look at what those ratings look like. Not as bad as I thought. 92 overall, which is, it sucks. It's not good, and he's going to be screwed next season, but definitely fine. Best running back of the year loses 25 ratings. That is unfortunate. Take a look at some of the other guys around the league, perhaps, in the regression category. Goddard obviously drops hard. A.J. Brown still going strong. How old is he now? 28? 29. So he's about to join that illustrious list of players that are about to freaking die out. Then we have defensive side of the ball. Anyone here? Don't think so. But yeah, of course, no upgrades at all. Just no XP. Not a single one. I mean, maybe you get some if you do like training camp and all that. But as far as like normal progressions go, it's not going to happen. Literally, Jalen Hurts said 0 XP. Got to an X factor, but 0 XP gained. Derrick Henry is now a 73 overall. Yes, still fast. Agility's gone. Change direction's gone. Excel is barely there. Truck stiff arm juke, good enough still to be a good running back, but yeah, he's a shell of himself. Travis Kelce might have just straight up retired, but if not, let's take a look. He is not here. Kittle not really taking the hit that hard, though, unless he's just still too young to properly regress. I know he's regressing here, but now he loses 40 upgrades or ratings, yet still 94 overall. Now Zach Martin gets hit, but even then, 5 overalls at 34 years old, that's not terrible. We're in the draft, and it seems like the year of the cornerback, you got 2 really good 94 speed cornerbacks that are both 80 overall. Crazy to think that these 2 guys are in probably like 5 to 7 years' time going to be the best in the league while still being 80 overall. One's normal dev, one's hidden dev, but ironically enough, it means nothing to either of them. All I'm saying, though, is this is making me once again want to do another simming 30 seasons to find the best rookie videos. I really want to see a 99 speed quarterback. Updated look at the team. It's coming along. Not very well, though, because everyone's just going down, but the team's still probably one of the better in the league. It's just can't progress. Even though it is dumb that 0 is literally 0. And at the same time, it makes sense. It's better than some arbitrary, system where 0 is, it's actually 7%. And so, if you want 0, put it on 0 for whatever reason. I'm glad they give you that choice. Eagles still in the playoffs. Devontae Smith, number 3 in yards. Pretty good season, actually, from Hurts. Saquon Barkley still looking pretty good. Devontae Smith, 1290 with 13 touchdowns. Curious to see what the league is looking like. I don't know if we've had any major regressions, to guys like, speaking of, Joe Burrow or Mahomes or anything like that. But, 38 touchdowns, 13 picks for Prescott. Don't know what the hell happened to Lamar Jackson, but 30-7, that's a lot better. Love 43-7. And, a bunch of just random blend-in, bleeding numbers. Like I said, though, that Packers scheme, it is really good. I mean, you could almost argue that it is the best scheme in the game. It's right up there with the Chiefs, and it puts up better rushing numbers. So if you're trying to do a rebuild where you're actually progressing all of the players, you don't have a good running back yet, I'd argue Packers right up there. You still get the good wide receiver numbers, good enough to usually get a dev up, and then you get pretty top running back numbers. So that is the scheme to be. Let's take a look at the sacks. 16. So for some reason, I don't know if it's because the pass rushers, some of the best in the league, are kind of the older side. Maybe they're regressing. But in this one, the offensive line seems to be doing a little bit better, which is interesting. Speaking of sack totals, TJ Watt, 20. Aiden Hutchinson, 18.5. Don't see Greg Rousseau, though. There he is at 9. Huge drop-off. Don't think he's regression yet. He's pretty young. Fred Warner, 8 interceptions, 7 for a bunch of different players. Kicking, I mean, this is actually a position that you would also think could be screwed. A bunch of those bad UDFA level kickers / punters are going to be starting on teams because there's really no choice. All the kick return, punt return stuff, who cares? We'll take a look at MVP, but honestly, everything else kind of irrelevant. Joe Burrow is the winner of said MVP. We went slow sim, didn't get the Eagles into the Super Bowl. This time, we're going to go all the way to Super Bowl and see if they're just there. And they are taking on fellow Bird Baltimore Ravens. Bird team, fellow Bird, and they lose. So it's all for nothing. We have seen regression start, so let's take a look at Saquon. This is going to be tough. It's going to be like 84 overall. 83. Damn. AJ Brown also 87. Goddard's unusable. Take a look at the defense now. Anyone here that we would have not wanted to go down? I don't think so. I think everyone's still the same. Let's take a look at that Jalen Hurts XP, though. Is it still 5,500? Yep, 5,529. I mean, I thought he would have gained something somewhere, right? Like breakout or something. I don't know. Guess not. I wonder if there's any other players that we're not really thinking of that have started to regress a little bit. Devontae Adams retires. Probably happened a little bit earlier than he was expecting. He is up there, right? It's up there, but still. Any QBs? Like, I'm trying to pay attention to this. Tua, I don't think he was regressing. Darnold, Mayfield. It's kind of tough because, Dak. Oh, Lord, that is a huge drop. 71 overall now. He dropped 59 overalls. He's like, hey, I'm an X Factor. We're saved. Well, maybe not. Just, maybe not. Josh Jacobs, does he? No, he hasn't. No, he has taken a hit, but not that hit. Oh, he has, actually. It's 84. He's got a really good morale, though. Hey, running back of the year, NFL rushing yards leader. 33 lost upgrades, and you're now an 84. Your seasons are already over. That's crazy, dude. The regression, man. If you really want to play on a super challenge, here you go. Put that regression up to the max. Unbelievable. 40 ratings for McCaffrey. Don't know if we would add any wide receivers. AJ Brown, like I said, he did regress. He's kind of like the guy, right, that would have regressed the most. Tyreek Hill, this could be a big one. 84 overall. 48 overalls lost. Man, this is happening rapidly. Kittle, he's down quite a bit. Going to 33 was a massive regression point. I think tight ends, their main regression start is 32. So now that he's 33, of course, it's going to be even harsher. Got to remember, it's like a double-edged sword because I think they multiply it, I'd imagine, because we have the base regression and progression of positions. And then you also have the age regression. So I think it might multiply. If I'm not mistaken, I would imagine that's how it works, which, if so, no wonder why they're going down so quickly. Some really high overalls in this one as well. 81 overall. Nick Candidate. Pretty good. Candidate has a 79 man coverage rating, 76 zone, 83 hit power, low block shed, good speed. Problem is, you lose, regression or you regress as a young safety. I wonder what... Whoa, he's an X Factor too. I wonder what that looks like with this kind of, 200% landscape. It's probably pretty tough as well. Got some pretty good, wide receivers slash running backs for speed, 95 speed. Almost guaranteed that this guy's going to be one of those star dev types. I'm curious. You're going forward, if I'm right about this, we're just going to take it at face value. Yeah, we're just going to take it at face value every single time. I am correct. I am not wrong. I am a dictator now. Separate those two words. Actually, it's one word, but separate it into two words. Team is definitely not as good as it once was. 83 overall heading into the third season. I think by season like 6, we're going to see a completely different NFL. The Eagles are the number 1 seed and will have that first round bye. And let's take a look at the numbers. Do not see Devontae Smith there anymore. Jalen Hurts, his numbers are worse. Saquon's numbers are obviously worse, but that's kind of how that's going to go. Once again, the top dogs should still be kind of the top dogs, at least at quarterback, as they are not the oldest players in the world anymore. Mahomes, I should say. Mahomes, 31. It's kind of like 32, 33 is usually when you start to see that regression really hit hard. So Mahomes is going to probably take a hit very, very shortly. Same with a lot of the other guys. They're starting to, get up there a little bit. But it is interesting to see that, even though, some of these guys like Igbuka, obviously, are going to be a little bit on the lower side for overalls, they're still way up there for yards and touchdowns, because a lot of the defenders, I think, are following suit with those regressions. Latham, 18 sacks. A little surprised to see him give those up. Aiden Hutchinson is a Charger, which is interesting. Rousseau back at 14.5 picks. Still got a lot of high interception numbers, maybe even higher than normal. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Burrow. And there's not really much of a reason to look at anything else. And the Eagles, once again, go to the Super Bowl, but are they going to win it? That's the question. Do I went with the Eagles? I feel like they're one of the more tests of time type of teams. At least kind of, sort of. At least in real life. And they do win this one. They actually win the Super Bowl here, so the Eagles do win one. They've won another one, as you could see. Not that it really matters. I don't really have a reason to care if the Eagles win or not. It's like I'm filling out some freaking bracket or something. But let's take a look at the regression of the team. See if Saquon Barkley's even here anymore. He might just straight up retire. 75 overall for him. I think Jalen Hurts is still the same overall as he always was. Same XP. He is 30, so he should have another year or two of being a pretty damn good player. What about those wide receivers, though? A.J. Brown's got to be 84 overall, 87 for Devontae. And then defensively, what are we looking at? Mitchell goes to superstar, but wait, actually, Mitchell has gone up in overall, so he must have been one of the training camp guys. He was an 84 before, I believe, and now he's an 85. So you put those guys in the training camp. I'm not going to manually do it because then that would be kind of influencing the sim, if you will. But the team won a Super Bowl. 82 overall is kind of the top dog in the league, it seems. Ooh, cornerback of speed, 81 overall. Looking pretty good. The Titans have been cooking in this sim so far. They got corners on deck. Will it matter, though? Because obviously they're definitely not progressing any. Chase Brewer, a 6'8", 81 overall tackle. This is, considering he's 6'8", and that just gets me going, one of the best tackles we've ever seen in sim. What was he, 23, though? How old was he? 22. Fair enough. I love it. Saquon Barkley, 75 overall. They're still rocking with him. Also, Jalen Hurts goes to an 88 overall, which I imagine means they did training camp with him, or they had the off-season workouts. Mailata's a 94 overall, so he's still a really good player. 81 overall for the team in general. Zach Bond down to a 79. I don't know what the ratings are in the league. It's only entering year 4, I believe. 25, 6, 7. Yeah, entering year 4. Let's take a look at those teams, I suppose. Take a quick little gander. The overalls are, taking a hit. The highest overall in the league is seemingly 81, 83, 82. Seems to be 83 overall is the highest in the league right now, and most of the teams are under 80. 9-8, made the playoffs. Not a convincing way to get there, but did make the playoffs. Mr. Hurts, 31-12. Touchdowns for Barkley, one of his highest yet, maybe even the highest. Let's move over to the actual NFL itself, though. Like I said, some of those regression points might be up there. Like, did Mahomes regress really hard? Look at McCarthy, by the way. But it's Mahomes, he's 32 now, 97 overall, so maybe not just yet, but maybe next season is when you're really going to see it. McCarthy, what overall is he? Because obviously he's 0%, but no, even then, 74 overall, they're not really progressing him. I don't know if they're putting him in the training camp focus, whatever, but He's obviously not really getting there, but because the baseline is kind of, dropping a bit, I imagine the game is just looking at it like, well, he's a high overall, right? Or maybe it's just the scheme. I don't know. The Giants scheme apparently is good, I guess. Walker, Judkins, a lot of the, once again, the youthful players are near the top of the list as everyone's regressing so hard, especially at running back. Easily the worst regression position, well, in general in the league probably, but in Madden for sure. Aiden Hutchinson's still doing well, the same kind of usual suspects like Rousseau. Jermaine Johnson's a name drop you don't really hear often, though. And then Drew Phillips with double-digit takeaways. That's a lot of interceptions, man. Kicking, punting, who cares? Take a look at MVP and, head to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson wins MVP. Is there going to be a different team by now? Don't know. And sooner or later it's going to be about how well you draft and not how well established you were. But that time is apparently not yet because Seattle and Buffalo are going at it, and they're usually teams that do pretty well in sim no matter what. Of course, especially Buffalo's side, which the winner is the Buffalo Bills by 7. All right, the Eagles, who are very broke now, they're not as bad as they were. They were like negative 50 at one point. Saquon Barkley now a 68 overall. What is his age? It's only 32, and he's 68 overall. Yes, his regression would have been pretty bad anyways, but he would have probably been low 80s if not for the 200%. Wide receivers, what are we looking at? 86, 79. Oh, Jalen Hurts is starting to get hurt by the regression. 84 overall, which is a little crazy because didn't really see Mahomes go down, right? And he's like 32. So I feel like we maybe got the short end of the stick here a little bit. Defense, for the most part, still kind of intact, but Jalen Carter seems to also be going down. Really, I want to see Mahomes now. I want to see these quarterbacks, as they definitely should be feeling the burn a little bit, which we see Mahomes does regress, but not by that much. He's a 92 overall, which is, 6 overalls lost. He loses 27 points. Some pretty average ratings for accuracy. Anyone else Burrow 32, Allen at 33. No one's 34, so we're not really seeing the crazy drop-off. Kind of sucks that one of them wasn't like 34 out the gate, so we could really see it. But look at the running backs. The highest running back is, there's 3 in the 90s. Rest is like 83 or lower. Yeah, the league has already seen that shift, especially at the running back spot. Best tight end in the league is freaking Trey McBride. Bauer is going to be holding that title for a lot longer. Momentarily, anyone in the pass rush. So, look at Myles Garrett's an 86, lower than 86, 85 or lower. A lot of the league now is in the low to mid 80s. Once again, it's going to start becoming who drafts better, not who was more established, which is what we're kind of looking forward to, in my opinion. Couple of, high 70s. Only one actual 80 overall, though. He's 6'4", hidden dev, 91 speed. A little older, but I'm curious to see what the dev is. Obviously, it doesn't really matter outside of like regression down the line. Star dev could have also put dev regression on, which would have been ridiculous, but we didn't do it for the other one, so there's no point in doing it for this one. Any crazy speed players? Not really, to be honest. Usually you see someone in the 95, but no, 94 is the max. This time, the Eagles, as a 78 overall, do not even make the playoffs. Jalen Hurts and company looking kind of down. Best running back on the team was Jalen Hurts. Presley, 2.9 yards per carry. That's the thing. Running back numbers are going to look horrible, as pretty much everyone's going to be, well below that 90 threshold. That's usually the kind of numbers that get you the good ratings, the good yards per carry. Brock Purdy, unbelievable completion percentage of 75%. That's ridiculous. Joe Burrow still at the top of his game, though. And then I don't even know where the hell Mahomes is. He is way down there for yards, but still the touchdown to pick ratio is great. Talking about those running backs, there appears to only be, to my knowledge, 2 running backs that are over 4. No, it's more than that. 3 running backs over 4 yards per carry. Okay, there's a little bit more, but those don't count, okay? They don't count. As far as like legit ones that count, you have 3 guys over 4 yards per carry. Everyone else is either not a very high volume guy, so it doesn't really count, or they're an actual quarterback. That's pretty crazy, but once again, proving the flawed, way that the game works. You've got 6 1,000-yard rushers. Receiving, everything kind of looks like normal. Nothing really special going on there. Sacks, 20 sacks. We've seen our first 20 sack allower in Colton Miller. What is his ratings these days? Yeah, he's pretty low. He's pretty low. This is 78 overall, I believe. And then we look at defense. Pass rush might be taking a little bit of a hit from some of them, but you still do have a lot of the league's youth in, Hutchinson and Rousseau. They're still young enough, obviously. Kicker, punter, who cares? Take a quick look at MVP and then see who wins the Super Bowl. Josh Allen wins MVP. Are we going to see a new Super Bowl winner? Just somebody different. I'll tell you what, we could, but we are not going to. It is the Bills and the Niners in the Super Bowl, obviously, in this realm, and compared with the real life, they do have a Super Bowl win. The Bills win another one here. So, nothing's really changing necessarily. Maybe some of the teams at the top are changing a little bit, but even that really is not even true yet. The same teams keep winning the Super Bowl, keep getting to the Super Bowl. The other sim actually was a little bit more random. We had like 2 or 3 Super Bowl winners that you don't really expect to win it in the next 5 years. Where this one, it might be 0. I was going to head over to all the players, but wow, we can just look right in our own backyard. An 80 overall tight end with a bunch of speed. That is a really good tight end. 6'4", 21. We'll have him for a long, long time. Dev of X Factor. Wow, they landed themselves a true generational tight end. Might even be the highest overall in this entire class at 80, which he is. Everyone else is a tad lower. Let's take a look at that wide receiver. As a corner, actually, in Middleton. Very balanced, but yeah, that tight end is crazy. He is crazy good. Somehow, some way, we go with a terrible season of 7-10. Then the 77 overall Eagles become the number 1 seed again and are 14-3. Jalen Hurts, I guess, is one of those sort of standing the test of time kind of QBs right now. One of his lowest overalls yet by far, yet easily his best season by far. Sure, whatever floats the team's boat, I guess. Let's take a look at some of those guys. Joe Burrow, he once again, another guy that doesn't care. He doesn't care. Got the gray hair, it looks like, which is obviously not, but it looks like it. Still really high ratings, even though he's regressing a little bit. What about some of the other guys? Love is up there. Hurts up there. Josh Allen, he's got to be pretty low by now. 80 over. Wow, I keep underestimating the regression. 80 overall is wild. Where's Mahomes? 36 to 80, still doing well, but 87 overall. Man, he is not regressing as hard. EA got them secret special parameters to make sure he does not die off. And as far as like running backs go, we only have 2 guys at 4 yards per carry or higher. Bijan, just absolutely killing it because he's still pretty young, 28 years old. Still regressing though. He's still regressing. He's only 28, so this next season when he hits 29, he's going to be really bad for next year. So we realistically, this might be the last time we're seeing 4 yards per carry or higher from a running back. As far as touchdowns go, Henderson, really good with 19. Receiving, once again, kind of the same old. It doesn't seem like it's really affecting that position too much. Blocking, sacks allowed, 15. Could be because, once again, the edge rushers, the base is lowering as well. Hutchinson and Russo, still at the top of their game. Picks, lower than we've seen, though. Edge Cooper with 6. Everyone else, 5 or lower. See who wins MVP. I immediately glanced, but I didn't really see it. I thought it would have maybe been Burrow, but no, it's actually Jalen Hurts. Maybe he wins a Super Bowl on top of it. Oh, new team, Cardinals with the Bills, of course, though, which is crazy because Josh Allen's like an 80 overall. So I guess is another way of kind of weeding out the schemes as well. Once Josh Allen's gone, if they still do really well, then I'm going to be saying, yeah, the Bills scheme is right up there. As the Cardinals cannot do it, the Bills, they're just running away with this thing at this rate. Oh, the Eagles with a brand new running back who's really solid. A 78 overall, Matt Jeffrey. Very fast, good change of direction. Could he be one of the more top-performing running backs? We'll have to see. Looking at the entire NFL now. Once again, more important than ever is this draft. A new top-tier quarterback enters the fray. Jake Manley, 6'4", got a good amount of speed, 96 throw power. He looks really solid. This is, your poor man's Josh Allen, it seems. Just missing the playoffs at 9-8, the literal 8th seed. Almost said 8th wonder of the world, I don't know why. Jalen Hurts, 4,000 yards. Touchdowns are still pretty low, though. Let's take a look at the overall. We got some new names at the top. We do. Julian Lewis, Bryce Young, Colin O'Neill. Of course, Joe Burrow is going to get his name in there, but he is probably regressed pretty hard. Ellington, but touchdowns are really low. Josh Allen, what's he like? Like, how is he still starting? He's a 74 overall. He's still got ridiculous throw power, though. It's kind of weird that, EA's so fixated on letting safeties drop speed and all that, but Josh Allen, 98 throw power, 35. I'm sure there's no drop off. It's like, how are all these like other ratings dropping off, but his throw power is not? Sure, I guess Manley after his first season, 24-4. What about Burrow? What overall is he now? 86. He's higher than I would have thought, though. I'm not really sure. Is it like the guys that are relying a little bit more on athleticism that are regressing a little bit quicker? We haven't actually even looked at Jalen Hurts. 80 overall for him as well. Our demise is coming soon, too. Still really accurate, though. Looking at the running backs, Bijan and Gibbs still putting up 4 yards per carry or more seasons. Touchdowns, though, still pretty good. I thought it was going to be less. It looked like there wasn't many, but that was just the top end guys. Receiving, once again, this is the one position that, outside of maybe some touchdowns here, looks about standard. Blocking, 20 sacks allowed for Wilkinson. Pass rush, are we going to start seeing this drop off? No, Greg Rousseau at his best season yet here at 21.5. Hutchinson at 19, 18.5 for Burgeon. Once again, that's without progression ratings, obviously. So, some of these guys are just doing well. Might not be a position that actually takes a hit. Pass rush might be fine no matter what the overalls are, which I wish that was my case for rebuilds. And then the MVP goes to Will Jefferson. Bills and Seahawks with the Bills winning another. I think that's like their 3rd win now. Bills. Wow, oh, they have the 3-peat, huh? Okay, that's fun. They have the 4-peat. Wait, hold on. They have the 4-peat. They have the 4-peat. And if it wasn't for our team here, they would have had the damn 5-peat, dude. Are you serious? They almost completed a 5-peat, and they still can. A 3-peat after the Chiefs just failed it, probably never going to happen. 4-peat is 100%. You can take that to the bench. Please don't. Knowing my luck, like genuinely, I've like just so many random things, nothing serious, like video game kind of stuff, like 50-50, coin toss, whatever. My luck is always terrible. Knowing my luck, I would make like a check I just can't cash. I'm like, any one of you guys can, come to my house and 10,000 each. No, I'm not doing it. My luck, we would see the Raiders do a 4-peat or something random. Not doing it. Sorry, can't do it. Sorry, just not happening. Even though I really, really, really don't believe a 4-peat will ever happen, I still am just not. I'm not writing that check, dude. Draft recap, not looking so hot. I mean, yes, the overalls are decent, but the athleticism isn't there. I might just be too fixated, though. I might just be a little too fixated. But if you really think about it, am I? Like, the majority of the best players in the league are pretty damn fast, right? Like, basically all of them, other than, like, pass rushers. That's a little bit less important. But a lot of the best players at wide receiver, tight end, running back, even quarterback now, pretty damn fast. All right, looking at the team, they got a new quarterback, Heron. I don't even know where the hell they got him. 25 years old. Looks like they're moving along. Running back, obviously, you got Jeffrey, who's a superstar. Parks, who's a superstar. I mean, a lot of these players on this team, if it wasn't for the zero progression thing, they'd actually be in a really good spot, right? You got a lot of guys with high dev. It's just they can't progress. Chase Moore, 24 years old, but they can't progress, so it's kind of irrelevant. What overall is the team anyway? 75 overall. We're a bit down the line here, so let's actually take a look now at the updated overalls now that we're near the end of this 10-year sim. We see that the league is definitely pretty low overall. The Chiefs were kind of the high top dog. They're 76, so basically right now the baseline is almost exactly 76, right? 76, 77 overall, which is lower than we even draft in fantasy drafts, where we're going for those youthful players, those rookie type players. So, yeah, the league is definitely feeling the burn, feeling the hit. Still, some of the normal guys that are at the top of the league in real life still kind of lingering around. But even Robinson, I think, is going to be on that list of no longer very good players. I think this might be, other than maybe one guy, one of those no one over 4 yards per carry type of situation anymore. Which I guess if it's anything less than consistent, it's a bad consistent, but it's consistent from EA. New quarterback Heron has led the team to a 5-12 season. I mean, maybe we should have just rolled Jalen Hurts out there even as a low overall. They got 5 QBs, by the way. That is, they don't feel good about him, I'll tell you that much. Not that we had much of a choice, because I'm not changing the team at all. I'm not moving anything around. The AI is in control. Let's take a look at these quarterbacks. Obviously, going to be a lot of names I imagine we've never heard of. No, Mahomes still at the top, at least yards-wise. I mean, his morale boost is like basically almost his whole overall at this rate. So it would be a 70 overall flat almost. Some of the other guys, Cook, let him cook. Joe Burrow still on the top. Faulkner, Will Walker, Drake May, Heron, Murray. A lot of random names we've never heard of, I'll tell you that much. As far as the running backs go, we do actually have a couple of guys at 4 or higher, with Oliver at 4.3, Genty at 4, Hampton at 4, Forbes at 4.1, Smart at 4.6. I mean, better than I would have thought. Jeffrey at 4.2. A lot more guys than I would have thought would have been on the list. Again, though, wide receiver, it doesn't really feel like much has changed. We do see this quite a bit, though, when we do those 0 overall rebuilds, which are kind of rare. Let me know if you want to see another one. It's been a while. Unless you remember, we did one of those like a couple months back, which still even that's a long time. But yeah, it's the wide receiver still usually get some numbers, even though they're literally a 0 overall. So doesn't actually surprise you much here. 2 guys over 20 sacks allowed, 22 and 23. Then we look at the defense sack totals. Rousseau is still killing it. What's his overall these days? 86. So this kind of might be one of his last seasons where he's in that top tier list, especially that high in the list. Interceptions, 8 for Cooper, 8 for Northcutt. What's Cooper's? I mean, he's got to be 30 years old, 80 overall. I mean, he's progressed slightly, like 1 overall, but yeah, that's just kind of the hazards here. Kicking would be also a position you thought maybe would be taking a hit, but at the same time, kicking's so random. You could have a 99 everything kicker, and they're still going to miss just as much, if not more, than whatever the league's best is that year. Which, I mean, I guess I sort of get it a little bit. Like, nobody should just be guaranteed, but Cook, MVP for the Bills. A lot of the players now are going to be all non-reals. This is the Super Bowl I've been waiting for. Panthers, Dolphins. Oh, I've wanted this. I don't know why. That just brings me back. I just feel like Panthers, Dolphins is like a tropical Super Bowl vibe. I don't know why. It's just a thing. It's just a thing to me. But what do we got? Who won it? Panthers. That means even more to me. Yes, it would have been cool if the Dolphins won. I really didn't care as long as one of those two teams, obviously. But also, Jordan Mailata, was that him retiring as a Raven? When the hell did that happen? Excuse me? But the team obviously not progressing. The regression is there. Safety, 69 overall X Factor. That is sucky. The guy's like, I'm an X Factor. Trust me, I'll be really good. Well, here's the thing, pal. No, you're not. You're not going to be really good. Oh, snap. We won't probably be able to see it, but the Eagles may have just put themselves back on the map. An 80 overall quarterback, who's also 23, mind you, have just given them another 10 to 11 years of elite quarterback play. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. He'll be instantly. As far as overalls go, though, we did have 2 guys higher than that. Pat Kelly, the wide receiver, picked 4 overall. 5'11", you knew he was going to be short. Okay athleticism, smart, route runny type player. And then we have number 2, who flipped this time, is the tight end, 64 overall Thaddeus Nixon, who is a pretty good run blocker, very good catching, solid route running. A little bit of a weird build because you'd wish he was a little more athletic, but he's a good player. He's like a very tactical player, just not that athletic. Damn, even with a new quarterback, they still go 5-12. They're like hard locked on 5-12. Chad Winnington with a 25-15 touchdown to pick ratio. Of course, not helping that he's in a scheme kind of designed for the quarterback to run around a little bit and the running game in general to take the load. But yeah, the quarterbacks, as you would expect, are basically all across the board, CPU generated, non-real life guys. McCarthy's in there, but like you got the Ravens starting him. He's got 18 freaking touchdowns because they're probably running him's poor little legs as if he's Lamar, never a chance. And of course, Bill Cook proving that the Bills do cook. Their playbook is solid. Only 3 1,000-yard rushers. This is what I thought was going to happen. And it happened. The yards per carry terrible. Once again, receivers, especially, I don't know how the hell Amon-Ra St. Brown's still doing what he's doing. But yeah, once again, proven schemes are what makes dreams. I don't know what's with these like really poor phrases, puns. I don't even know what you want to call them. Rousseau's still killing it, 18.5. Just run the Bills' offense and defense, I think, especially if you got a little bit of speed at that quarterback. Why the hell not? And Cade York, what a terrible season. MVP is going to be a guy we've never heard of. Well, Bill Cook, but you know what I mean. No one we've heard of from real life because he's just not real. See if we get another Super Bowl, though, that's brand new. I mean, it's great that the Bills didn't have their 5-peat, but they're back on the Super Bowl run. Come on, Arizona. Come on, Arizona. Don't let them do it to you. I think they already did it to them once, didn't they? They beat them, like, recently enough. They let them do it again. Can the Bills stop? They've won, like, 50% of the Super Bowls. I mean, they're actually on par to pass that, which is insane. Oh, damn, the Packers are the highest overall. 480 overall pluses in this one. 83 overall for Chandler Leak. 6'3", really strong. 99 strength. Low injury, though. Very strong, though, obviously. Let's take a look at the wide receiver, see if he was a tall guy or not. A lot of these really high overalls are usually a little bit shorter, but no, not Sammy Duke. Very good release, great catching, solid route running. Could even be a generational. Usually they're not. I don't know why. I feel like most X factors are 78, 79, not 81. Well, never mind. The team for the final season, Whittington, the 81 overall, Meadows, 83. A couple of guys that are a little bit higher than, what you would expect because they were the training camp people, I'd imagine. As here we go for this final year. Eagles managing to keep themselves at or above the average in the league for pretty much the entirety of this thing. And because of it, they, for the most part, have been in the running, even won a Super Bowl. And 11-6, speaking of that Super Bowl kind of situation, they might have one for themselves here. Jeffrey, 3.7 yards per carry, not very good. Let's take a look at the NFL total stats. Obviously, a lot of guys you're not going to expect. Wow, Carroll, 42 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, that Raiders scheme. One problem is we don't really know. We could check. We'll check after this, the Raiders specifically, how many of these teams have their original scheme, right? They shift all the time. Larson, 4.2 yards per carry with 21 touchdowns. Who is Mr. Vernon Larson? 79 overall. Power back. Yeah, the Raiders scheme is absolutely feasting right now. Let's take a look at the receiving where, once again, it's not going to really look much different. All these other positions, they kind of seem like they're different, but not that position. Wide receiver is chilling. Pass rush. Rousseau's still doing it. Then you have interceptions. Nothing really changing there either. Kicking, it's all going to be kind of the same. Once again, kicker is such a random position. Carroll, MVP of the league. All right, let's see it. Can the Eagles win a Super Bowl for the final season here? The one thing that I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt, playbooks do matter a ton. We got to look at that Raiders playbook. Speaking of Vikings versus the Broncos, I mean, we've seen how many damn wins the Bills got, even with a different quarterback even. Let's take a look at Vikings, Broncos. I don't even know who I want to win here. They're both pretty new teams for winning in Sim. Vikings have won a little bit more than the Broncos have, and that will continue to be true here, it seems. But let's take a look at that Raiders scheme. As once again, it seems like schemes are playing the biggest factor in this thing. The Raiders running Houston's scheme. That is not what I was expecting there. And then the Vikings, are they still running their scheme? They are running Dallas's. Cheaters! Cheaters! So you, of course, look at the league history, and what you're going to see is that, for the most part, teams like the Bills winning a lot, telling you that, schemes play a pretty big factor. A lot of the teams that won are teams with the best schemes. Even, after their best players are long gone. Let's take a look, though, after 10 seasons, what the NFL looks like overall-wise, which I imagine is going to be pretty damn low. As you can see here, it seems like 75 is kind of where your average team lies, with some being a little higher at 76, some being way lower at 73. But the one thing that is certain is you cannot beat the regression. That regression is tough. Of course, progression not being there does hurt a lot, but those regressions, some of those guys losing 10 overalls in one season, I mean, yeah, once you hit that regression age, you are basically completely gone. You're leaving right away. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Once again, we have, in a different way, have proved, as usual, that it's all about the playbooks. I think we're going to be doing a simming 30 years draft video probably on Saturday. We'll definitely have a rebuild tomorrow, though, and then probably some more Batman on the second channel on Friday. So, as always, pretty much content every single day, especially if we do Batman every Monday and Friday, and those are the kind of days we have a rebuild in between. Basically, every single day we'll have content on one of the channels. Whether you're interested in it or not is a completely different story. But yeah, if you guys have any other ideas or experiments, myths you want busted, I'll bust, all right? Just let me know in the comments section below. Maybe your comment will be featured. I've been seeing some pretty decent rebuild ideas that we'll probably get into as well soon enough. So yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, appreciate good heat support on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, and once again, second channel, PK Plays for non-Madden content, which we've been doing Batman on. And yeah, hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya. And shout out to new members. Been a couple of days now. Glenn Pattison and Meep, appreciate y'all for being members. And just in general, anyone that's been a member already. Of course, if you're not a member and you're thinking about becoming one, click the join button. All the details will be in there. We have a couple of members exclusive rebuilds up, a couple of non rebuilds as well. And there'll be one every single month. So be on the lookout for that on the 15th of every month. And yeah, remember or not, appreciate y'all for watching. Hopefully come back for next video, which will be a rebuild tomorrow. But until next video,